Come explore the magic of Disney, the adventures of Universal Studios, and cruise the high seas. This is Explore the Mouse.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
And here are your hosts, Eric and Casey.
Sometimes hello.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is a hot one outside.
Sorry, I tried to keep it together.
That's my introduction.
Like
it's a hot
late
one outside.
Like, like the truck drivers listen to like late night people.
Yeah.
Happy Tuesday, folks. It's a hot one tonight. Okay.
That was my lead. Well, it is a hot one. I was already outside this morning.
I've not been outside, so I can't speak to
It's humid.
how
Very,
hot.
very muggy in the south. Oh, yeah. Well, today we are going to be talking about a perfect place for hot days, actually. That was actually a completely perfect introduction that I didn't mean to do. We're going to be talking about Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah.
I love Typhoon Lagoon. It's such a great place. And we decided to take a kind of an impromptu almost, just kind of trip. We were like, you know what? Let's go to Typhoon Lagoon.
I think it was like March or April. I had realized we had been, the last time we had been to Disney was for Christmas. And I was pregnant. I had just gotten pregnant like this spring. And I said, man, I really want to go again before this baby comes. But I just can't justify the park tickets and going, like we were just not in a spot that it made sense for us to go down for a whole week or whatever.
Yeah.
So I started looking online and I saw that the water park tickets were like $50 because it was technically off season.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I don't know, maybe $65 for you and I, and then $50 for Harlow. And I was like, I mean, that just makes sense. And then we just book our cheap hotel that we usually get in Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, you know what, let's go. And of course I did the typical, like, we're only going to go for the one night. We just booked the water park. We're not doing anything, no parks. And then like 2 weeks before I was like, I bought us park tickets and added an extra day because I can't go down and not go to the parks.
Yeah, we can't.
Actually, we're there this past weekend. And this was the first time I think I've been to Disney and not done the parks.
Yeah, I think that's about true.
Like, I think that was the first time that I've been down to Disney Springs property and not down to the park.
Yeah, every time we've always gone down there, even if it was for an impromptu trip just to like
we would just do
Springs,
at least one day at the park.
Yeah,
like,
we'd always end up doing a day at the park. And yeah. I mean, I went to the park, which is going to be a whole different episode. I went to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. But yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, you didn't go to the parks at all.
It was hot. I should have freaking got a Typhoon Lagoon.
What's funny is I almost thought about that.
Harlow and I should have done the Typhoon Lagoon again.
I almost thought about that because I was like, all right, I can go around and do all my filming that whole day. You guys could just go to Typhoon Lagoon and enjoy it. I don't know why I didn't think about that.
Because it was hot.
I mean, it would have been perfect. Well, the first day we were there that I did Magic Kingdom for the Halloween party, it wasn't horribly hot. Typhoon Lagoon would have been a perfect day.
Yeah.
Like the sun wasn't.
I don't know why we didn't think about that.
I don't know. Actually, that's...
Harlow and I took the bus because while Eric was filming and at the Mickey's Not So Scary Party, we went like resort hopped and stuff. So she and I took the bus from Disney Springs to a couple resorts to do the monorail. Mm-hmm. And when we drove past it, she was like, Typhoon Lagoon, I've been there.
She had a blast there. And we'll talk about a little bit of some of the things that we did.
Talk about it now.
I mean, Typhoon Lagoon, it's one of my favorites. I did, so between the two, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon, I actually prefer Typhoon. Blizzard Beach is fun. I will say they have the most thrilling ride at Blizzard Beach, which is the tall, kind of straight down ride.
Yeah.
But I have to say, overall, I think the aesthetic of Blizzard Beach and the rides water rides and everything, I just think they're a little bit better, in my opinion. So I think when we decided to kind of just make an impromptu trip, I was pretty pumped to do so.
Yeah. I also think people just don't realize how cheap the water park is. I mean, I think they do it just because they're like, hey, you're coming anyways. Might as well. They're not making, they're making money, but they're not making their big bucks off the water parks.
No. And I think, so a one-day ticket typically starts around $69. It does fluctuate.
That's for like the on season, like
Correct.
that we're in right now. Yeah.
Well, that's like their average per se. Like, they do have some lower ones. I do think they have some special ticketed that are a little bit more expensive that you can go to, like the
H2O.
The H2O Glow.
Mm-hmm.
But I think average they're right around $69 is what their average price is, and they do fluctuate a little bit. But I mean, even 69, if you're paying max price for it, $69 to go spend a day at an amazing water park with a lot of fun things. It's perfect. I mean, you're in the Disney bubble. They're supposed to have characters, but they didn't this time.
They didn't when we were there.
No,
but they did like later that week, because remember there were a
Mhm.
couple people that we saw that were there the same week, and we're following them on social media, and they like Stitch was there later that week.
Yeah. And like, yeah, because like Stitch is a staple of it. He's kind of, I wouldn't say the mascot, but you know, he's kind of like the Disney character that really kind of they focus on. And then sometimes you do have Mickey and Minnie there as well, like in swimsuits and everything. And it was just, yeah, there was no characters this time, which I was kind of bummed about. So I'm not sure why, because it wasn't a rainy day either. I don't think it rained once that day.
The only thing I can think is like we weren't there for the full day. It's not like we left early. We left at like 2 p.m. So I would assume that they would have brought people out, but it was a really, really hot day. Maybe they have like certain temperatures. They don't bring them out. I don't know. Probably not.
No, because Magic Kingdom does it for parades and stuff.
I don't know.
The parade, you know,
really.
I don't know. Yeah,
there.
I don't know. Well, but let me tell you a little bit about Typhoon Lagoon real quick. If you guys have never been there, just to kind of give you a little bit of a snippet of what it is. Typhoon Lagoon is basically a themed water park after Typhoon Tilly, and what it is Typhoon Tilly came through and kind of ravaged this like port city, and in its wake left a massive water park, and it is really cool because there's like shipwrecks around the property. There's like they have like old planes that they have that look like a plane went down.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the staple of it is kind of their Cinderella castle is the giant Typhoon Tilly boat that's perched on a mountain, like it got blown up there. It's just it's a really cool feel. When you walk like when I walk through Typhoon Lagoon, it really does give you a really cool tropical feel. And I enjoy that. It's kind of like similar to when I go to the Polynesian. I just love walking to the Polynesian because it has that amazing like tropical beach vacation feel, which is really nice.
I'm just laughing because we like literally live on an island and we don't love it. But like we go on vacation to these places that are like, oh my god, palm trees and sand and water.
We don't live anywhere tropical though. We live in an area that has like pluff mud and like dark murky water, and like
we live in the low country.
Yeah, it's not like we're
palm trees and sand and beaches.
Yeah, but it's not like we're living like in an area with crystal blue water and you know, like something you imagine like when you watch like Moana.
No, I'm on the same page as you. I'm laughing. We both don't love living here, but we will go on vacation to these like places or
Sure. I mean, but I have said before in the past though, I would totally live somewhere in a heartbeat, like on an ocean, if it was like clear water.
I still don't think I would, but
I love oceans. My thing is like swimming in them. I want to make sure I see what's in the water with me.
I
But
don't love the sun, but we'll.
Yeah,
digress.
That's a whole different topic. Let's talk about one of the things first that we love most, and this is not what we did first. But let's talk about the food options there.
Oh, okay, I was like, what? Yeah,
because obviously food's a big thing, and they have some great food options at Typhoon Lagoon.
More than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why in my mind, I haven't been to Typhoon Lagoon since 2001. That was the last time I had been there.
I did not know that.
Right. So
holy moly.
I was a kid. I was a child. So last time I was there, I don't really have memories of like the available options. You know, I'll save this. My big memory from Typhoon Lagoon, I'll save that for later. When we're talking about attractions and stuff. But no, I don't remember. So in my mind, I was just like, oh, like a water park. They'll have like one food stand with like hot dogs and pizza and then like an ice cream stand. But no, I was really surprised with how many options they had.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that most of their restaurants or food options, I won't call them restaurants, but you know, food stands, they don't really mimic each other. Each one of them has their own like footprint when it comes to like food options.
Very different offerings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The big one that's there is the one that we ate at, which is the Leaning Palms.
Right.
And when I was looking at the menus to kind of figure out where I wanted to eat there, this one kind of stood out because of just some of their uniqueness, I guess you can say. They didn't just have your typical burgers and stuff like that. They had like really, truly like inspired Caribbean flavors, which is what I wanted. You know, go into a place like this, walking around feeling like you're in a tropical island. I really wanted something kind of, you know, Caribbean inspired. So we chose Leaning Palms. as our option. And I'll just get right into what I had because I dream about this. I love. I mean, this was so good.
He's going to tell you it's his favorite thing.
No, it's not. Casey did joke the other day about like a T-shirt.
I said because he has ADHD, he should say everything is my new favorite thing at Disney. Because every time he tries something, he goes, "This might be my new favorite thing."
Yeah,
I'm like,
pretty much.
oh, that's cool because you found a new favorite thing 4 minutes ago. It was the drink they brought you before they brought out those pancakes. Okay.
So
Yeah, so this is his new favorite thing at Typhoon Lagoon.
Everything's my new favorite, which is hard because everything is so good. Well, not everything. There are some things I don't like, but everything is so good. But
I did tell him about your lunch.
I did get the jerk shrimp rice bowl, and I'm a huge like jerk flavor fan. I love it. And so this bowl had Caribbean jerk season. Actually, and this what's impressed me is they had Florida Gulf shrimp. So like that was kind of one of the things that brought me to it. It wasn't just like shrimp that was brought in frozen farmed. It was actual like Florida shrimp, which was really good. It was served over rice with pigeon peas, roasted corn and peppers, pineapple salsa, and then sweet plantains. The only thing about this dish that I wasn't a huge fan of is that the rice was just a tad bit dry. And I think it's just because they probably obviously like cook it in a big batch and then it sits in a warmer. But the rice was just a little bit too dry, but the shrimp was like amazing. And those sweet plantains.
His favorite
awesome.
thing, you guys.
Awesome. What'd you say?
I said it's his favorite thing.
It's my favorite thing. It was so good though. I like I said, if it wasn't for the rice, that dish would be like probably like an.
It
8.
also was a pretty good portion size.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes you think 12, 15, you might get a smaller bowl, but no, it was a pretty good portion size. I had the Island Crunch chicken sandwich, which is just like their breaded chicken sandwich and had pickled vegetables, a chipotle ranch, shredded lettuce on a brioche bun, and it was served with tortilla chips and salsa. My only thing was that there was not enough sauce. It was a very dry sandwich, but I literally just went and got another thing of sauce, and it was totally fine.
Yeah, I do agree. It was good. I took a bite of it, and it was good before the sauce,
Yeah.
before you got extra sauce. And yeah, it was just a little bit too dry of it, but the flavor-wise
when
of
you're
it,
getting like quick service, like mass served,
I mean, they're
food, you
throwing
can't
it
really
together.
complain.
But I do have to say the pickled vegetables were a really good
Yes.
add-on to that.
So
that
good.
Yeah, that made that sandwich. I didn't get the sauce part like you did, but the pickled that's definitely made the sandwich. And then I think we just got Harlow just a plain old pizza.
She got the cheese flatbread, which was huge. Like 2 people could split that flatbread.
It was
It was
massive.
really big. She ate the whole thing. But that's a great tip for like kids. If you know they're not going to eat the whole thing, just get one because it was really big. It's like $11 and it was big.
Do you remember what drink I got? I got a drink there, and I cannot remember what I got.
You did. I just had the menu up too.
Because I mean, when you go to a tropical place, especially like Typhoon Lagoon, you got to get a tropical drink, right?
You did, and it was actually really good. I took
It was
a sip
amazing.
of it. Hold on, I'll know it. Let me pull the menu back up. I ignored the.
Was it the
drinks
Blue
'cause it was
Typhoon
like-
Colada?
Yes, it was a colada. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so it was a Blue Typhoon Colada. It was basically their like pina colada with Bacardi rum, and simple, but it was really, really good. I knew it was blue. I just couldn't remember what it was. It was refreshing, especially on a hot day, and it wasn't too sweet. And I'm not a sweet drink person. It wasn't too sweet. You can taste the alcohol. You can taste it. It was actually really good. I was pretty surprised. I thought it was just going to be like one of those like typical like drinks you get from like the frozen drink bars, where you go and they just it's just full of sugar, and it wasn't. It was actually really, really good. But
they also do have beer and wine,
Yes.
and like any Disney dining, they have allergy friendly menu. Just putting that out there.
They do.
Yeah.
So some of the other food options that you can get there, again, we didn't eat there this go around. Well, we did. We ate the Joffrey's. We got the donuts to go. That was amazing.
Yeah.
They have a Joffrey stand there, by the way, that has the most amazing, like literally fresh homemade donuts. They like
They're
make
little mini
them.
donuts.
Yeah,
They're-
they're little mini donut holes, but
Yeah.
they make them. Or no, they're not donut holes. They're actually donuts.
Yeah, they're donuts.
But they make them right there in the
Yeah.
stand. And they come to you hot with like powdered sugar and all this. Oh my gosh!
You
but
can
they-
choose like a dipping sauce. They have like white chocolate, and I don't know, I think it was like raspberry or strawberry or something.
It was
and you
delicious.
can get them in 6 or 12. They were really good. We got them on our way out and ate them on the bus home, and they were really good.
They have Happy Landings ice cream, which is your go-to ice cream spot. You could also get your Dole Whips there, and they have the Hey Hey cone, which made its debut in the parks. And a lot of people thought it was gone, but they just basically moved it over to Typhoon Lagoon, which makes sense. It fits in with it. But the Hey Hey Cone was actually a really good treat. I love that. So it's there at Happy Landings. They also have Let's Go Slurping, which is their drink bar. I think they do have a couple of food options there that you can get, but it's mainly like a little tiki cocktail bar. They have Low Tide Lou's, which is another quick service as well. They serve American style food there. A Snack Shack, you're just going to find your typical stuff, pretzels and nachos and stuff like that. Surf Doggies, it's your hot dog stand, which they do have a couple unique hot dogs there as well. And then Typhoon Tilly's, which is what you were looking at that menu a little bit earlier. Typhoon Tilly's is another one that's located kind of near the actual ship itself. And they have a pretty good menu over there too. And all these are quick service. So you go to any of these and you're just going to get a, really quick meal, like lettuce wraps and salads and fish and chips and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. I like it. But let's talk about the actual water.
Yeah.
Because we went to a water park to swim. So
now the food's out of the way.
But let's talk about the main part. Let's talk about the surf pool, because I did some filming around the areas, and you took Harlow to go kind of play. And when I finally met up with you guys and I saw where you're at, I was kind of blown away with how cool that area was.
Yeah.
Like the little splash pad. What is it called? Zero entry, I guess.
Yeah,
it's called.
zero entry splash pad.
I was really surprised. It was such a great area.
So when we walked in, we had to essentially rope drop the water park. So everybody was just kind of waiting, and then they let us in. We went immediately straight past the donut cart. A little to the left, there's there's sandy beach. There's tons of seating. We had no issue getting seating, and it was really crowded that day. But we had we grabbed these seats like right on the sand with this little like zero entry. It's not even like a splash pad because there's nothing like squirting water up, but it's like a zero entry.
It was like tide pools.
Yeah, like a tide pool.
If
Yeah,
you're at the
they were
beach,
like an inch and a half of water, like nothing, but they were enough that like I brought some sand toys for Harlow to play with. I could set up our little station, and she was happy to play in the water right there. And then that also walks you into the big the lagoon.
Yeah, the wave pool, the surf pool.
So they're all connected, so you can get straight into the wave pool from there. And then they also have the little toddler slide there, which was nice. So as a mom with a toddler, it was a great spot that wasn't necessarily just next to the playground, because they also have like a little playground area. And I felt like if we sat over there, we'd be stuck on the playground in the sand all day. And I didn't want to do that. So I thought it was a really great spot. Yeah, there were tons of little kids just like walking through that water, splashing. It was enough water for me to like sit in and just kind of splash and cool off and wait for her to be ready to go into the wave pool. And then, nice. While Eric was gone walking around, that's pretty much what she and I did. We did the toddler slide like once, and she was over it because they made her take her shoes off. She didn't want to do it. And we had like hyped up, like, we got to wear these water shoes, because I had read that kids kept getting their feet cut up on the ground.
Well, the ground was rough.
It was, I mean, yeah, we didn't wear shoes, but so I had like prepped her and been like, oh, you can wear these shoes in the water. They're really special shoes. And so when they made her take her shoes off on the toddler slide, she was just like, no, like not about this. Anyway, so she and I hung out in that wave pool a lot while Eric was walking around and had a blast.
It was really neat. I like the wave pool. Now, before we talk about going into the wave pool, I do want to let you know, if you do have young kids there, or even some older kids, they have life jackets for free all around the water park. So like if you don't bring one, don't worry about having to buy one. They have some really good ones there, and you could just go grab it.
Yeah, they have them on stands all throughout the park, and especially at every entrance to like the wave pool and the lazy river. Anything that's like a depth, they have them at every single entrance, but they're also just throughout the park. Yeah,
so that's a really awesome feature that I didn't know they had originally before we ever went there, and it was pretty amazing. But the actual wave pool itself is super cool. Yeah. We all spent a lot of time in there. I spent a lot of time in like the very deep ends waiting for the waves, which I still don't know the schedule. Like as I was sitting there, like I still don't understand. They tell you to wait for like the thunderous sonic boom, and then but it's like it's so random. And I really do think it's randomized, because like I was trying to figure it out if there was like an actual.
Looking on the website, it actually does say 6 foot swells every 90 seconds.
Oh, does it?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
But that big thunderous one is much larger. I don't know. And there was, because then they play that like sonic boom, and there's like this almost like a warning, like a
Like a hurricane
type, yeah, like
warning,
a siren
yeah.
basically. And then sometimes it was like, okay, that means it's coming. It's coming. And then a bunch of us were standing around for like 15 minutes, and finally, like, there were a bunch of people that were like, okay, well, we're gonna go get lunch, like, we don't understand what's happening. And then as soon as they left, it started. But I don't know, could have been there was a, shift turnover or something at that moment. There were a lot of kids getting yelled at because they were going too far, because they do have like, so the lifeguards are above you basically on these like cliff tops, and they're looking down into the wave pool because obviously the walls have to be high enough. And they have like these, they're not ropes, but essentially areas that you can go in depth. So like Eric, as an adult with no child, was able to go super far and close to the wall. Not very close to the wall, but like,
Yeah.
as close as you could get to the wall swimming. Where, because I had Harlow, I got yelled at to move back with her because she and I were too deep. So there's like different depths. So there were a lot of kids that were swimming out there without life jackets, and the lifeguards kept yelling like, you have to put a life jacket on. So it could have just been they weren't doing it because people weren't listening that day. I don't know. But according to the website, there is a schedule.
There is, yeah. There's a schedule of when it goes off. I was trying to figure out why we were there, and I honestly cannot figure out what the schedule was. But it was cool. It was such a good time. I actually have some video that I'm working on compiling everything for I mean, I have a lot of it, so it's hard to compile it for like a YouTube video, but I have a lot of cool stuff, including I brought my GoPro.
Yeah.
And I was inside the waves, so I'm excited for you guys to see that. But it was really such a good time.
It was really fun. And again, as a toddler parent, if you bring kids, Harlow loved going in the deep end, which was fun. She and I probably spent an hour and a half, maybe more, in the tide pool or in the wave pool, because Eric was off filming, and being pregnant, I wasn't allowed to do a lot of the rides, so we can only do the lazy river for so long with Harlow. And so we spent a lot of time in it. So she wanted to do the depth, and we were like in the deep ends for a good portion of time. But then after a while, she kind of got tired. I got kind of tired of like treading water with her. So we came back to where it was a little more shallow and she could stand up. And at that point, the waves come and they just kind of crash over your feet, essentially just like a normal ocean. So it was really fun to have like different areas of play in the same spot, which was nice. So that's something fun to be like, oh, we can start out here and then inch our way in, or start out in the deep end like she wanted to and then come back.
Yeah, I highly enjoyed it. That was probably one of the best parts. Before I tell you about some of the water rides, though, real quick, we didn't do this, and obviously it's a different time. But if you want to learn how to surf too, they even do a surfing program there for an extra fee. I'm not sure what the fee is because you have to call.
Yeah, you have to like sign up. I saw it when I booked the tickets.
Yeah, but it's neat though. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like they can bring you out there and you can learn how to surf like in really big waves. So I think that's a pretty interesting thing. But some of the rides that were there, and again, unfortunately, Casey couldn't do them this go around because of being pregnant. But
I thought there'd be a couple that I could do, but I wasn't allowed to do it.
I'll be honest with you. I think the family one, the was it not Misadventure Falls? I think that one you probably could have been fine with. Like it was just a big tube with family, and
yeah, well, that's why I assumed like there would be a couple that I could, do.
But you couldn't.
And every single sign, and I understand why they do it. Liability, I totally get it. But I was too far along that I was showing that it wasn't. I couldn't lie, which you shouldn't do anyways.
No. The rides were great though. I have to say, like, I was extremely impressed with the quality of the water rides they had there. Harlow, I actually got Harlow to go on one with me, which was great. I loved it. I got her to go on Misadventure Falls, which is a big family tube ride, and it was funny because it was this giant yellow tube and just me and a small toddler.
It kind of, from the videos, reminded me of like a Raging Rapids kind of ride. Where you're like in a big circle tube and you're just holding onto the side and getting super soaked.
It was so much fun, and she got scared and almost backed out. I mean, we were probably maybe 20 people from away from going on it, and she's like, I don't want to do it, Daddy. And I was like, I'm like, but it'll be fun. And so I had to make up a story, and I was like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. She loves that. So I made the whole thing about Pirates of the Caribbean and like made her sing the song, and then she was fine. But, like when we got done, I was like, what did you think? She's like, let's do it again. I'm like, yeah, I'm not waiting that line again, because that was actually the longest line.
I was just about to ask you. So the lines, but I
The
guess
lines are nothing. Like
Yeah.
the lines were, I want to say the longest line was at Misadventure Falls. And I think it's because it's a family ride, so a lot
Yeah.
more people could ride
Yeah.
it. And I think that was about a 20-minute wait, which wasn't still bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I think the lowest waits, all of them are average about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I walked on to.
You went on a lot by
Oh
yourself.
my gosh. I
Yeah.
went on, I'm trying to remember the name of the ride. I have such a blank right now. I went on one of the rides literally 4 times in a row. And I couldn't get enough of it because it was such a really thrilling ride. It was one of those where when you shoot straight down and you pick up so much speed. Humunga Kawabunga is the name of the
Whoa.
ride, and it's a thrill ride. It's a big drop. It's one of those where you start off and you pretty much go almost 90 degrees straight down, and you pretty much, they told me, I was asking one of the attendants there, and they said that sometimes, depending on whatever, they said you can probably gain speeds of about 40 miles per hour, which I thought was insane. But yeah, that thing, no wait. It was less than and I think the 5 minutes was literally walking up the side of the mountain to get to the top.
And there were a lot of people there that day.
Mhm.
Like when we were
Yeah, it
trying
wasn't
to
dead.
essentially rope drop and wait to go get seats, we were like, oh my God, there's so many people here. Like, how are we even going to get seats? We were pretty far back. But yeah, so considering the fact that I felt like there were a lot of people there, maybe because they were all in the lazy river with me.
There was a lot of people in the tide pool, the wave
The
pool,
wave
I mean.
pool.
The wave pool had
Still not as many as
ton
I
of
feel like
people.
I've seen. Like I've seen some of
not
them
from yeah.
not shoulder to shoulder, but pretty packed, and I never felt like I was in anybody's way.
Mm-mm. No, I don't.
I did get bumped by a couple kids, but
Yeah, no, it wasn't horribly packed, and I was surprised on that because I really thought it was going to be a lot busier, being such a warm day and a clear day. I think it was one of the rare Florida days that there was zero rain in the forecast.
It was beautiful.
It did rain later that evening at Disney Springs, but there was zero rain in the forecast all day.
Yeah.
So I was surprised it wasn't.
Also, that
busy.
morning was beautiful. It was not overly hot.
Well, maybe it's because school was still in session. It was the end of the school year, but everyone was still in school, so maybe
Could've
that's why.
But I mean, what I was saying is there were still a lot of people, and
Yeah.
you still only waited 5 minutes. So
Yeah,
that
it
was
wasn't bad
pretty
at all.
great. There's enough rides that I think it just kind of fluctuates, and it was easy. But it wasn't like, oh, you were gone, and most of that time was spent in line.
Yeah. Some of the other ones I did go on is I went on Mayday Falls, Keyhole Falls. There's a lot of falls, by the way. Gangplank Falls. I went on all of those. They're great rides. They're all tube rides. Really nothing to kind of they're not. I wouldn't call them thrill
Really?
rides,
Yeah.
but they're enjoyable. They were just enjoyable rides. Now I do have to say I am so mad at myself because I was so focused on getting some content, and at one point I was right near filming the cabanas,
Yeah.
and I never went on Crush and Gusher, which is their roller coaster water slide.
Well, we will definitely be back.
We will,
So-
because I love it, and it's a good thing. But I was
Yeah.
so mad after we left. We walked away. We got on the bus back to Disney Springs, which, by the way, you can park at Disney Springs and take a bus over.
Yeah.
It's right across the street. But we got on the bus back to Disney Springs, and I was like, I never rode Crush and Gusher. And
Don't worry, he did everything else.
Yeah, I was just that was the one I wanted to ride because of the roller coaster kind of aspect of it. But I did mention the cabanas, and I want to tell you about them real quick
let's touch on
because
those.
wow, they were so cool. So I was walking around doing some filming, and I went to this area right by Crush and Gusher. It's right by Tropical Amity Outpost, and I ended up talking to a cast member that was there, and there was nobody in the cabanas yet, so he and I had a conversation. He decided to describe all the cabana stuff to me, and I was blown away with the cabanas because he was telling me that there's a bunch of different levels of how much they can cost, and it can cost anywhere from, I think he said, about $275 a day to 600 a day, depending on how big of a cabana and what you want. Some of them have TVs, they have
Right, they have
fridges, they
different
have
benefits.
fans in them. But when he was telling me how many people could accommodate these, different areas in these cabanas, it actually is worth it if you can go with a big group.
Yeah, we've talked about doing it next time if we go with your sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah, because they have cabanas that fit 5, 6 people, maybe even less, probably 4 or 5. But then they have cabanas that fit up to about 12, I think they said.
I'm pulling them up right now because I'm
Yeah.
curious.
I think he said about 12 they pulled up to. And so you think about it, and
10.
those are the bigger ones.
6
Those
to
are like
10.
what's up?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Maximum number of guests is 10 for the standard for $340. 12 people for the deluxe, which is $429. And then they do have, again, a premium plus, which is 10 people for $450, but you get way more benefits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So actually, it was a little bit less. I thought it was like 600. So even the price is even better.
Yeah.
I mean, because you split that 475.
450. If you do
450?
450 with 10 people, it's $45 a person.
$45 a person for a cabana all day. And the cool part about the cabana is that you actually get an attendant. So you get someone.
So you do get an attendant with all three levels.
Yeah, with
of
all
the
three
cabana.
levels. And
Sorry,
that attendant is like literally your like concierge. Like he'll get your food, he gets your drinks. Like if your kid wants a Mickey ice cream bar, he'll go get it. And it's just a really, really cool thing. And he was showing me, he let me go into the cabanas as well. And the cool thing too is that the fridges the ones that have the fridges are actually stocked with like sodas and waters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to just read you the Beachcomber Shack Premium Plus. So
Perfect.
This is the top one. It's $450 for 10 people. Comes with an attendant service, souvenir refillable mugs for each guest, a locker, towels, cold water available all day, cushioned seating, dining table, mini refrigerator, flat screen TV, oscillating fan, and 4 electrical outlets. So you can charge all your stuff.
Bonus. That's awesome. And I think it's worth it if you can find that many people. Even if you don't find 10 people, even if you only have like 7, that's still pretty decent.
That's not bad.
I know it's on top of your ticket price as well, but if you're looking for, and we can vouch for this,
you're planning on
there's
spending the
nowhere.
whole day there.
Yeah, there's nowhere. Well, actually, I wouldn't say nowhere because there is some palm trees and stuff that you can find some chairs under. But if it's a really busy day, like you're gonna be in the sun all day, even in your lounge chair.
If you're sitting on your lounge chair, yeah,
and the cabanas are strictly private. You cannot go sit under a cabana unless you pay for one. So if you're gonna be there all day and you have like 6, 7 people, whatever, why not?
I mean, I think it's worth it for the attendant service alone, and then having like access to cold water and.
Well, I mean, can you imagine us going there with a newborn or an infant?
Be great to like lay her down.
Yeah, it would be great to have a cabana where you can go and just put her in somewhere shaded, and you can't guarantee that without a cabana. So
right.
for $450, why not?
The other fun thing that came with the cabanas was what we noticed when we were eating lunch. We were sitting, and none of the restaurants are like sit down fine dining. They're just all quick service, but they have picnic tables outside of each restaurant. So we went and sat down at a picnic table, and next to us there was this. Yeah, it was a picnic table, and it had like this beautiful linen tablecloth and this gorgeous like pineapple centerpiece and glass tableware. These fun drinking like hurricane glasses and these beautiful plates and palm fronds that were like used as the chargers. It was beautiful. And we asked, and the guy was like, oh, this is for the cabana. So you can choose if you do have a mini dining table in your cabana. But if you choose to eat at one of the restaurants, we set up this like table service for them.
Which I thought that was
and then they just left it, and the attendant came and cleaned it up.
I thought that was a really unique thing. And the cool part about it is that like their food came out on like glass plates.
Yeah, it was like really nice. I mean, ours was on paper plates, which I had no problem with because we were like at a water park. But it was just cute. It was like this really pretty table setting, and I used to do tablescapes for our culinary business, so like I'm all about a really nice set table, and it was so cute.
But and that's the thing for me is that like if you're looking at price wise, $450 initially sounds steep, but then when you really break down everything that you get, it really does make sense.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we're definitely going to do one, whether it's the big one or whether it's a smaller one, but we will definitely do a cabana next time we go there, especially because we'll probably be with an infant. But it would be nice to have that. But we're definitely going to do it next time. And he sold me on it. And this cast member was absolutely amazing.
It looks like. Sorry, I'm just curious what the like difference between the like deluxe and the premium is. So the premium I read to you had all the things that I read to you. The deluxe, which is $429, so really a $20 difference, and you get 12 people. It looks like you don't get the souvenir refillable mugs. You don't get a locker or towels. Oh, no. Yeah, you do. You get locker and towels. Okay.
Yeah, all that's included in every single one of them, I believe.
Yeah, locker and towels are in all of them. So you don't get the refillable mugs. Oh, here it is. You don't get the dining table, mini refrigerator, flat screen TV, oscillating fans, or 4 electrical outlets. For $20 more, I would get all of that.
100%. I mean, yeah.
Oscillating fans, just, I was going to say for kids, but like in general for myself would be very helpful.
Well, I think the fridge makes sense because you can bring some stuff in with you, so you don't have to buy juice for the kids. You can bring juice boxes for the kids or whatever. You can't bring alcohol in, but you can bring some stuff in for the kids. And yeah, I mean the outlets, I think the fan's the big one.
Yeah,
having that fan is probably the biggest perk of paying that $20 more, because it can get hot and it will get hot. It's Florida. But yeah, so we're definitely going to do it next time, and we'll definitely make sure that we film it so everyone could see our experience at it. But
for sure,
let's wrap this up by talking about Singapore Sal's.
Wait, I didn't get to talk about my favorite part of the water park.
Oh, what was your favorite part?
The lazy river.
We didn't talk about the lazy river. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
I love a lazy river. I am like,
and you spent a lot more time in it than I did because I was running around.
I spent a lot of time in the lazy river because Eric was off filming, and then he did take Harlow to the family ride, so I went into the lazy river. But I ended up falling asleep in the lazy river, taking a nap while I was floating.
You didn't tell me that.
But no, it was so much fun. Harlow and I had such a great time because it's just like any lazy river. You have access to tubes. If you don't want a tube, you can just literally leave it in the river and someone else will come along and grab it, or you can throw it up on the side. They had a couple of cool like little water features that were squirting water, or like a shipwreck that had like water pouring down.
I love that grotto.
Yeah.
The grotto was cool.
Yeah. So it was just fun. So we alternated between swimming a little bit. Like Harlow was still practicing how to swim. She was still at a floaty at this point. Now she swims without one, but she was swimming like with her floaty, trying to work on her kicking and stuff. And a lazy river is like so much fun for that. And then we'd get tired and we'd jump in one of the inner tubes, and then they have the double inner tubes. And I don't know, it was just so much fun. I probably went around that like 6 times.
Yeah, I only jumped in it a few times, and really it was to get from like one side of the water
it's a great mode of transportation
back to the other, because we had like a little entrance exit to it right near our chairs, pretty much. So like if I wanted to get back to it,
look on the map and like kind of do a little X marks the spot of where we sat, because honestly, I think it was an incredible spot. We were so central to so many good things, like the food and the drinks and the ice cream and the little tide pool and the wave pool. The playground was not far if we wanted to go on that. The like little kids playground, it's like they have like, it's essentially a splash pad. They have lots of little toys for kids to play on, little slides and stuff. And then the lazy river. Yeah, so we should put like on a map where we were, because I do think that was a great location.
Yeah, everything was really, really close to that. So yeah, we'll do something like that, and we'll put it up on social media. But let's talk about Singapore Sal's real quick to kind of wrap it up, just because, again, what's the last thing you do of everything? You leave a park, you leave a ride, you go through a gift shop. So let's talk about Singapore Sal's on our way out. And Singapore Sal's is your typical Disney souvenir shop. The only difference with Singapore Sal's, I think, that obviously you're not going to get somewhere else, is you're going to get special things that are themed only to Typhoon Lagoon or even Blizzard Beach, because you can still buy Blizzard Beach merch at Singapore Sal's, even though it's closed. But you can buy all those different merch there. Stitch and Lilo are their kind of like two main, and Angel.
Characters.
Yeah, and Angel. There's a lot of Angel characters there. Yeah. So if you're like Lilo, Stitch, and Angel fan, you can get a ton of their different merch. I mean, T-shirts, swim trunks, beach towels, everything.
It's like all the stuff that you see in the parks. It's just all in one central location, I think.
Well, there's some stuff exclusive, and that's the cool thing that I like about it, is that
as far as the characters go.
Oh yeah,
they were Typhoon Lagoon exclusive.
But the nice thing though is that if you do go to the park and you forget anything, Singapore Sal's has it. I mean, they have a whole sunglass section that has everything from like Oakley's to Coach, and like they had
sunglasses, flip flops, bathing suits,
and they sell
underwear.
They sell like Billabong. They sell.
I know that sounds so silly, like you go to a water park and forget your bathing suit. But I will let you guys know that I worked on a resort island for almost a decade. In a gift shop, I was the buyer merchandiser there, and we carried just basic men's. It was always men's bathing suits and flip-flops, because I cannot tell you how many people travel to the beach and forget their bathing suit and flip-flops. So they sell them there.
I mean, I could see it. I can see like running and out.
It's because the dads always pack themselves and they just forget all their stuff.
But they do have a lot of cool merch there as well, and they sell some really awesome companies. So if you forget anything, Singapore Sal's most likely has it. They also, if you do forget like toys to play in the sand and stuff, they have all that as well. Mm-hmm. Or if you go there and you don't realize they have sand, you can buy all those toys, and they can make sandcastles and everything else, and it's a really cool gift shop. I like it.
Yeah, it was a fun little gift shop.
Really nice theming to it, and the cast members are great.
Oh my God, they were probably my favorite gift shop, like, cast members that I've ever dealt with.
They were like outside. There was music playing on the big speakers. Actually, no, I think that girl had her own speaker.
It was, yeah. So across from the gift shop was the like Disney Visa sign up tent, and she had her own speaker, and she was playing like High School Musical and a bunch of young like stuff that I knew from like high school, and they knew every single word, and they were playing Camp Rock, and so they were also the people from the gift shop who were also chalk artists, like drawing on the outside of the gift shop.
They're like it was.
We're
insane.
dancing with the Visa girl, and they were like throwing beach balls back and forth. It was like a little teen beach party.
It was actually pretty cool. And that girl from Singapore Styles that was drawing like the Stitch and everything, she was impressive.
She was so good.
Like she needs to work in like Disney animation and not like
maybe
not a park, because
I mean that's her goal.
she was literally just taking chalk, and she made like ridiculously perfect stitches.
One thing I do want to talk about before we get off really quick that we didn't mention was I remember I said the last time I was there was 2001. My biggest memory from going to Typhoon Lagoon was doing the shark reef with my dad. You used to be able to swim with nurse sharks and stingrays, and it was really fun. It was like this huge in-ground tank, basically, that you could swim through. I don't know how big. 362,000 gallon tank. And it took like 5 to 15 minutes was how long you could be in there. And I remember like you had to do instructions on how to get in there really slow because they were nurse sharks. You couldn't freak them out. And then just swim across. I remember doing it with my dad. I remember we have a video, I have to find it somewhere, of a nurse shark like wrapped around my leg, like she was swimming around my leg as I was trying to get out of the lagoon. And my dad was like panicked because I was stepping up onto a step, and there was this like, it was a tiny nurse shark, but she was like swimming around my leg.
That's cool.
They took it away in 2016 just because of animal cruelty and the heat rising, and every year it gets hotter and hotter. So, but I was really sad because I knew it was gone before we booked the tickets, but I loved that. That's my favorite part of Typhoon Lagoon. Probably after that trip, which my family was there for like 10 days, that probably was the thing that I kept saying was my favorite part of the entire trip.
I wish I would experience that. I never had a chance to experience that. That stinks.
It was really cool. It was like swimming in a fish tank, like in an aquarium fish tank. It was really, really fun.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
If you learned anything from this, Typhoon Lagoon's worth it. That's
Definitely.
all I'm going to say. It's
I also
especially
looked it
for
up.
the price.
It was I paid $64 for each of our tickets and $58 for Harlow.
That's not bad.
No,
especially to be in the Disney bubble doing something fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I love the Magic Kingdom. I love the parks, but God, when it's hot, it's just miserable.
It was nice just to have like an off day too.
Yeah,
like
it was relaxing.
We got up there, quote unquote, early to be there before the rope drop. I keep saying rope drop, but you know what I mean. What time was it? Like 9 a.m.
Yeah, it was about. Well, we got there just shy of 9 because I think it opens up at 9, and
they didn't let us into the seats and stuff. Like we had to wait for that.
Yeah, we had to rope drop that.
It wasn't like you had to get up at the butt crack of dawn early, and we left it too. We could have spent all day there, but we knew we wanted to go to Disney Springs. It was just a nice, relaxing, cool day.
Yeah, and then if you're in the resorts, you just take a bus from your resort to Disney Springs and then transfer to Typhoon Lagoon bus, and then you're there. It's super easy, super quick, cheap, and fun.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Definitely recommend.
We recommend Typhoon Lagoon 100%.
Yeah.
But I think we talked Typhoon Lagoon to death.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening, and join us on Thursday for another episode of Theme Park Thursday. And then next episode, I'm thinking I may talk about Halloween Horror Nights. I'm on Universal side right now.
That, so.
I know I didn't go to that. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. I really want to talk about that, why it's still in season.
You should talk about
it. So next episode, I think we're going to talk about that. So tune in for that. Check us out on all of our social media sites, our YouTube, everything like that. Like, subscribe so you could get alerts as soon as we do some things. And other than that, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at Disney. Bye-bye.
Bye.